The courtroom is silent as Meri Brown stands up from her chair, her hands tightly gripping a folder as she speaks. Your Honor, Kody and Robyn have been keeping money secret, more than $400,000, and I have the evidence. Gasps are heard throughout the room. The empire Kody believed was invincible is now on the brink of implosion. And when the judge leans forward, her eyes narrowing, every person in the courtroom is aware this is more than about dollars and cents. It's about betrayal, justice, and the collapse of a family that appeared indestructible. If you've ever seen Sister Wives drama, just wait. Stick with me, because this tale will bring you into the explosive courtroom fight that will ruin Kody Brown for good. Would you have defended Meri or Kody in this instant? Leave a comment below. I want to know what you're thinking. It starts on a drizzly Monday morning in Flagstaff. The courthouse stands like a fortress. It's stone cold and unfriendly. Inside, the tension is palpable. A blend of coffee, stale paper, and hushed whispers echoing off the marble floors. Kody Brown enters first, his suit a fraction too sharp, his face a mask of confidence. Robyn follows close behind, her hand grasping his arm, her face pale but resolute. They appear a solid front, but it's obvious the pressure of the allegations has already begun to warp them. Behind the aisle, Meri sits erect, her gaze fixed on the bench where the judge will emerge shortly. For years, she had bottled her pain, her silence, her anger, but today she's no longer the forgotten first wife. Today she's the whistleblower. Janelle and Christine are there too, their presence quiet but powerful. They aren't plaintiffs, but they've come to watch, to support Meri, and to see Kody answer for the choices that broke them all apart. Christine whispers something to Janelle, and both women share a look that says more than words ever could. This is the reckoning we've been waiting for. The bailiff brings the room to order. The ring of the gavel cuts through the air. Judge Hamilton, a serious man with eyes that bore into his visitors, sits down. He looks down at the file on the case, then up at the Browns. We are gathered here today to consider the issue of alleged financial impropriety by Kody Brown and Robyn Brown. Counsel, are you prepared to go on? Kody's attorney stands up, suave and assured. Meri's lawyer, a keen woman with an authoritative air, inclines her head decisively. But it's not the attorneys who command the room's attention. It's Meri. All know she's poised to step into the spotlight in a manner she never has previously. 2 minutes in, and already you sense the tempest brewing. The judge invites Meri to testify. She makes her way slowly, the heel of her shoe ringing out like a drumbeat. She is sworn in, her right hand shaking ever so slightly, and sits down. Her attorney comes over. Mrs. Brown, please describe to the court what you found. Meri clears her throat, her voice firm now. For years, I left the family's finances in Kody and Robyn's hands, but I began to notice discrepancies, accounts that I couldn't see, money being transferred in ways that didn't make sense. So I started keeping track. She unzips the folder in her hands and draws out the first paper. Her lawyer waves it up before the court. This, Meri continues, is evidence of a transfer $400,000 drawn from the family business accounts and transferred to a private trust in Robyn's name. The courtroom breaks into murmurs. Kody squirms, his face set in a hard line. Robyn's eyes well up with tears, and she denies it almost imperceptibly, as if to say no. No, this is not happening. And this is where you see, secrets years deep are about to be revealed. Kody's attorney protests, his tone cutting, Your Honor, this is a purely unsubstantiated claim, intended only to defile my client's good name. But Judge Hamilton leans forward, reading over the document. Objection overruled. Continue. Meri takes a deep breath, getting into her groove. I gave Kody my allegiance for more than 2 decades. I gave him my love, my trust, and what did I receive in return? Secrets, lies, and a husband who discarded me the moment Robyn entered the scene. But this isn't all about betrayal. This is about fraud. And I will no longer be quiet. Christine purses her lips, fighting back tears. Janelle tightens her grip on her hand. For them, vindication is not enough, it's validation. All those doubts, all those sleepless nights wondering, all those gut instincts that something was off. And now, here it is, in a courtroom for the world to witness. The tone in the room changes. You can sense it. The momentum is switching against Kody and Robyn. Kody jumps up from his chair in a sudden motion, disregarding his lawyer's wild hand gestures. This is absurd, he thunders, his voice bouncing off the walls. Meri is resentful. She's attempting to ruin me because she couldn't bear being a member of this family any longer. None of it is true. The judge pounds his gavel. Mr. Brown, you will sit down and stay quiet unless spoken to. Robyn grabs the sleeve of Kody's shirt, her eyes begging, speaking rapidly in a low voice. He buckles back into his chair, furious, his face flushed with anger. Meri does not blink. She stands firm, her eyes fixed on the judge. Your Honor, I have more. Bank statements, emails, even signed documents that demonstrate this wasn't an accident. Kody and Robyn knew full well what they were doing. She pushes another set of documents to her attorney, who brings them to the bench. The judge accepts them, glances through them, and furrows his brow. Fine. Those will be admitted into evidence. We'll take a look at them in detail. And in an instant, the empire that Kody and Robyn constructed, the house of cards they were so sure no one would ever touch, starts to shake. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you found Meri's initial revelation shocking, wait for what's coming next. The courtroom air feels heavier now, as though every word spoken in the last hour has thickened the oxygen itself. The silence stretches long after Meri's documents are admitted into evidence, a silence that screams louder than any voice. People in the gallery lean forward in their seats, eyes darting between the judge, the attorneys, and the Browns themselves. No one dares blink. And then comes the question that nobody is prepared for with a crash like a hammer. The judge looks over his spectacles at Kody and Robyn. His tone is steady, controlled, but strictly serious. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, how do you explain these transfers? The two of them stand there frozen. Robyn clutches Kody's hand in such a tight grip her knuckles turn white. Kody's attorney intercepts quickly, flailing papers about, but the harm is already accomplished. The courtroom reeks of sweat, paper, and raw terror. For the first time, the dynamic has changed, and Kody no longer holds the reins. And here is where the story gets dark, because once the very first secret is opened, the flood cannot be arrested. Kody's lawyer clears his throat. Your Honor, my clients won't be answering for allegations made on the basis of incomplete and inaccurate records. We have reason to believe these allegedly presented documents were misread. But Judge Hamilton is not convinced. His gaze returns to Meri, then to the documents in front of him. We will examine the legitimacy of these assertions. In the meantime, the defendants are instructed not to move or hide any money. His tone becomes more assertive, weighed with authority. In fact, all funds relating to the Browns' joint ventures will be temporarily frozen pending this issue's resolution. Hands spread across the room. Robyn's face pales. Kody pounds his fist on the table, his anger cracking through. You can't do this. This is my family's business. You're killing us. But the judge interrupts him. No, Mr. Brown. If these charges are true, you killed yourself. And that is how fast the empire grinds to a halt. $400,000. Frozen, businesses suspended, investments off limits. Meri's lips tremble. But it isn't fear. It's relief. Finally, someone has stopped Kody's endless games. Christine's eyes well with tears, though she quickly blinks them back, not wanting to give him the satisfaction of seeing her emotional. Janelle, quiet but steady, lets out a deep exhale she's been holding for years. Kody, though, is a man coming apart. His visage contorts into a mixture of anger and desperation. He leans in over Robyn, whispering furiously, but his voice is too bitter to conceal. They'll never be able to prove it. Don't you crack now, Robyn? Don't you dare. But Robyn's body tells her story. Shoulders curled inward, lips pinched thin, eyes filmed with tears. The force of the truth is crushing her, and the cracks are starting to appear. Sometimes the most powerful drama isn't the insult screamed, but the silence of the guilty. The court adjourns. Outside in the hallway, tension overflows. Christine faces off against Kody directly, voice low but laced with venom. You constructed it all on lies, Kody. Lies about money, lies about loyalty, lies about love. And now, everyone finally sees it. Kody fires back, eyes ablaze. You don't realize what it takes to build a family. You don't realize the sacrifices I've made. Janelle moves forward, her voice steady but biting. Sacrifices? You mean to siphon accounts behind our backs, stealing our hard work and pumping it into Robyn's way of life? That's not sacrifice, Kody, that's theft. Robyn is unable to handle it. Tears run down her face as she speaks in a barely audible whisper. Stop, please stop. But Meri doesn't quit. Not now. Her voice, cutting and distinct, cuts through the noise. No, Robyn. You don't get to cry your way out of this. Not anymore. You assisted him in burying us. And now, you and he are going to have to answer for it. It's no longer a battle in the courtroom. It's a war between the Browns, and there won't be any survivors. Back in court, the prosecution presents another witness, an old business partner, who used to assist in managing the Browns' finances. He speaks, hesitantly at first, but becomes more confident as the truth comes out. There were meetings, inexplicable transfers. Kody would always say it was for the protection of the family, but it didn't sit right. And then Robyn would authorize things we never knew anything about. Kody glowers at the witness, fists at his sides, jaw fixed like granite. Robyn blows her nose on a tissue, each sob amplified in the microphone. The judge sits forward, every utterance adding weight to the pile already burying the Browns' defense. The witness holds up an email, late at night, sent. The subject line crisp and cold, final transfer. In the email, Kody dictates steps for transferring big amounts to a secret account. An account not under the family name, but to an account directly linked to Robyn. The courtroom gasps again. Christine covers her mouth. Janelle looks up at the ceiling as if not wanting to cry. Meri just heads down, whispering to herself. Finally, someone else knows it. Kody's attorney jumps up objecting vehemently. This is circumstantial. It doesn't prove intent, but motive doesn't count. Here, now. The judge's face darkens. Mr. Brown, you will have a chance to explain. But currently your credibility is disintegrating before this court. When the world you created begins to crumble, every explanation sounds like a falsehood. The toll of emotion appears on each face. Christine leans in, whispering to Janelle, do you think he'll ever own up to it? Or will he take Robyn down with him? Janelle's eyes are shining. Kody doesn't own up. Kody destroys. He'll go down swinging, and he'll take her with him if he has to. Meri overhears them, her heart racing. She knows they're right. Kody's always been a fighter, but never for what's good. And now, with his empire teetering on the brink, there's no knowing what panicked move he'll make next. Because the truth is this, when you push a man like Kody to the wall, he doesn't submit. He detonates. As the session wears on, the courtroom chill deepens, the pressure of evidence bearing down like ice. The judge starts sketching out the next phase. Forensic accountant, subpoenas, complete audits of the Browns' finances. Every dollar, every secret account, every hidden thing, everything will be brought out into the light. Kody resembles a man strangling. His eyes jump crazily, his hands spasm. Robyn holds on to him, but even she can sense it. The floor under them has disappeared. And then, as the judge is about to recess for the day, Meri's attorney rises. Your Honor, before we recess, we would like to enter one last piece of evidence, an audio recording. The words hang in the air like a thunderclap. A recording. The gallery murmurs. The judge raises a brow. Kody goes pale. Robyn's lips part in silent horror. The lawyer continues. This recording captures a private conversation between Kody and Robyn, discussing the very transfers we've been addressing. It was provided by an anonymous source, verified for authenticity. The room is electric. The judge nods. Very well, we'll review it tomorrow. But everyone knows what's coming. Everyone feels it in their bones. This recording could be the nail in the coffin. And that's where I'm going to leave you. Because tomorrow's reveal will flip everything on its head. What do you think is on that tape? Do you think Kody will finally be caught red-handed? Or will Robyn fall on her sword to cover for him? Leave your theories in the comments. I want to know what you think happens next. The courtroom is quiet, but the silence is not peaceful. It's stifling. All eyes are on the little black machine sitting on the evidence table, the tape that will determine everything. Even the ticking of the courtroom clock sounds ear-plug-worthy, each second hanging like forever. The judge's words ring out in the room. This court will reconvene to hear the contents of this recording. The air is charged, electric with the feeling that history is to be made. Kody squirms in his seat, sweat dots on his forehead, even in the chilly air. Robyn has her head against him, whispering in a madhouse of urgency, her lips quivering. Christine and Janelle share a look, a quiet acceptance that what they've been waiting for might finally happen. Meri sits tense, her hands folded, her face impassive but her eyes blazing with determination. Sometimes the loudest confessions are the ones spoken in whisper. When the bailiff says the session is restored to order, all the activity in the gallery ceases. Judge Hamilton inclines his head toward the technician, who loads the audio file. The hiss of static comes through the speakers, followed by the unmistakable voice of Kody. It begins suavely, even flippantly. Just put it in the other account, Robyn. No one looks at that one. A gasp runs through the room. Robyn's face contorts, her hand covering her mouth. Kody looks at the speaker, as if willing the tape to stop. Then Robyn speaks, softer, uncertain. But what if they find out? What if the others start questioning? Kody's reply is cold, almost smug. They won't. They never ask. And if they do, we'll say it's for taxes or medical. Whatever works. Just do it, Robyn. Trust me. The words hang in the air like a blade. The judge leans back in his chair, his expression grave. The gallery explodes with murmurs, disbelief, and outrage. When the truth finally speaks for itself, no one can silence it. Kody springs to his feet, red-faced, booming voice. That tape was out of context. You don't know what we were discussing. His attorney grasps his sleeve, pleading with him to sit down, but he does not. It is all lies manipulated into something they wish to believe. The judge bangs the gavel. Mr. Brown, sit down at once, or I will hold you in contempt. Kody sees, his chest laboring, but he falls back into his chair. Robyn gapes at him in horror, her eyes wide and full of tears, whispering, Kody, what did you do? Meri, not able to keep it in, whispers cruelly across the aisle. Finally, you're being shown to be the man you are. Christine tightens her arm, whispering, don't weaken. This is just the beginning. Meri's lawyer stands, unruffled but cutting. Your Honor, this recording clearly makes what the documents already implied. Blatant hiding of assets by Mr. Brown, facilitated by Mrs. Brown. This isn't a mistake. It's fraud. Slowly nodding, the judge turns to Kody. Mr. Brown, do you have any explanation for this? Kody's mouth is wide open, but no words issue. His empire, his dominance, his legacy is melting down more quickly than he can grasp it. When the mask does fall, the real face can never be concealed anymore. The courtroom hums. Journalists jot down notes furious. Cameras snap in the hallway beyond. For the first time in years, the man who once ruled a sprawling polygamous household is trapped. Christine stands up from recess and goes to Meri. Her tone is gentle but firm. You've done what none of us dared, Meri. You've made the truth a weapon. Meri shakes her head. No, the truth's always been there. I simply refuse to let him bury it. Janelle joins them, her expression conflicted but resolute. We have to be ready. Kody isn't going down without a fight. If he has to, he'll drag us all through the mud. Meri exhales, her shoulders heavy with the weight of years. Then let him. I'd rather be dragged through the mud than live another day in silence. In the corner of the room, Kody's seething. He's pacing like a zoo animal in captivity, growling low under his breath to Robyn. But Robyn isn't loyal. She's broken, eyes cast downward, mascara streaking her cheeks from her tears. The most dangerous man is not the one who is strong, but the one who has nothing left to lose. Throughout the day, the court focuses on Robyn. The prosecutor summons her to the witness stand. The atmosphere becomes heavy. Robyn walks slowly, like every step is a mile. She swears, sits, and holds tightly to the witness chair's edges. Mrs. Brown, the attorney starts. Did you intentionally authorize these disbursements? Robyn's lips quiver. I signed whatever Kody instructed me to sign. Did you know where the money was being spent? Her gaze flicks to Kody, then to the attorney. Her voice trembles. Yes, I knew. The gallery is in an uproar. Meri's eyes fly shut, breathing raggedly. Christine has to grip the arm of her chair so hard that her knuckles turn white. Janelle mutters softly under her breath. She admitted it. She actually admitted it. Kody bangs his hand on the table, his voice booming. Robyn, stop. Don't say another word. But Robyn doesn't let up. She weeps uncontrollably as she breathes the word. I was just trying to keep our family intact. I didn't want to lose him. I didn't want to lose everything. And here's the second mid-session hook. The truth doesn't always emerge in anger. It emerges in a shattered whisper. The judge's voice is stern. Mrs. Brown, your compliance will be noted, but this court cannot overlook your participation in these activities. Robyn cries openly now, her shoulders trembling. Kody looks at her, shock written on his face. He whispers angrily, you betrayed me. Robyn whispers back, no, Kody, you betrayed us all. The tension becomes too much to bear. All eyes in the courtroom are on the Browns, as they witness the once impenetrable base of their family crumble into dust. Meri feels her chest tighten, not with fear, but with something close to vindication. For years she had been painted as the bitter, unwanted wife. Today she is the truth teller. And for the first time the judge, the lawyers, the witnesses, they all see Kody for what he is. The day ends with the judge ordering more investigations and hearings. The recording, the testimony, the documents, it will all be balanced. But the course is set. Kody and Robyn are stuck in a tempest of their own creation. When the gavel comes down, the Browns remain silent. Christine and Janelle insert their hands into Meri's, making a silent bond. At the other side of the room, Robyn falls into her seat, crying. Kody's face contorts in anger, his eyes hard and unforgiving. He growls under his breath, low enough for only Robyn to hear. If I go down, I'm taking everyone with me. The danger lingered, toxic and frightening. Robyn fixes him with a horrified gaze, understanding what he really meant. And on that note, we leave this session with the assurance that the storm is far from over. If Kody insists on dragging everyone down, who will make it through the wreckage? Do you think Robyn will stick by him, or will she finally escape? Share your thoughts in the comments. The gavel slams down, sharp and commanding. The sound slices through the tension-filled courtroom like a knife through glass. Every eye turns toward the front, where the judge leans forward, his face carved into stone. The weight of the last session still hangs in the air. Meri's testimony, the frozen accounts, the whispered betrayal that set the internet ablaze. And just when the audience thinks they've witnessed it all, something even more sinister starts to transpire. The courtroom is chilly today. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, reflecting off the shiny wood, while the quiet has an almost electric tension. Kody is seated at the defense table, his features pinched, his eyes moving frantically between Robyn and his lawyer. Robyn's mascara appears smeared from nights of insomnia, and she grasps his hand like a lifeline, muttering angrily under her breath. Meri sits across the room, smoothing her blazer with calm determination, her gaze locked onto Kody. Janelle sits beside her, lips pursed into a tight line, while Christine appears almost victorious, but there is anxiety behind her bravado. And then, the bombshell drops. The prosecutor approaches, waving a fat file. His is a deep, measured voice, which rings out across the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, what you've heard up until now is merely a fraction of it. Today we have evidence which indicates that the $400,000 fraud was not merely a case of looted money. It was a calculated effort to create a secret empire, one buried beneath layers of shell corporation, aliases, and deceit. Gasps sweep through the courtroom. The reporters write frantic. Even the judge's eyebrow shoots up. And here's the question nobody is brave enough to ask aloud. If Kody and Robyn's empire was constructed upon deception, how far did they go to keep it covered? The prosecutor goes on, opening up the file. Bank statement, wire transfers, deeds to property, all traced back to accounts in Robyn's name, but paid for in dubious ways. We followed the money, and it goes beyond one family. It ties to companies registered under pseudonym, companies utilized to channel money away from Meri, Christine, and Janelle. Kody springs to his feet, slapping his hand onto the table. That's a lie. He sounds like his voice is going to crack, so loud that it bounces around the walls. You're taking everything out of context. We were protecting our family.
Emily.
The judge's gavel comes down once more. Mr. Brown, you will sit down, or I will hold you in contempt. Kody remains seated, but the harm is done. His tirade has unsettled the jury, and Meri's lips curve into the slightest smile of satisfaction. If you thought the $400K scandal was bad, wait until you see what they discovered about the secret companies related to Kody and Robyn. This is where everything's. 2 hours after that, the court adjourns. Outdoors, reporters and camera crews are besieging the courthouse steps, microphones stuck in the faces of anyone emerging from the building. Meri declines to stop and answer. She strides by with Janelle and Christine in close attendance. Within, Robyn is overcome. Kody, she says quietly, sobs pouring down her face. They're portraying me like I'm a criminal. Like I got you mixed up in this, you know better. Her voice shakes, yet there is desperation in her gaze. Kody takes hold of her shoulders. They're trying to break us, Robyn. They want to hurt us because we're stronger together. Don't let them get inside your head. But even as he speaks, there's something in his eyes, a spark of uncertainty, perhaps even fear. Because Kody deep down knows the proof doesn't lie. When court reconvenes, the prosecutor asks Christine to the stand. There is a hush in the room. Christine strides confidently, chin high, eyes ablaze with conviction. This is her moment. She raises her hand, swears in, and sits. Her tone is steady as she continues. I endured decades of deception. I saw Kody splurge with money, and I saw Robyn become the focal point, the favorite wife, the priority. We were told money was being spent on family, on houses, on our children's future. But what I experienced was Kody and Robyn living in excess, while the rest of us struggled to make ends meet. Robyn rolls her head back and forth in furious negation, mouthing the phrase, "Not true." Christine doesn't bat an eye. And I'll say this to you. Christine continues, her tone becoming more acidic. The empire they created was not created for the family. It was created for them. Meri and Janelle share glances, one's of vindication. The prosecutor walks slowly, then leans forward with the knife. Christine, did you ever witness monies being diverted away from family expenditures yourself? Yes, Christine affirms resolutely. I saw checks drawn from the family account to Robyn's internet business, by the thousands. I questioned it, but every time I did, Kody said I didn't get the bigger picture. Well, now I do. The bigger picture was a lie. The courtroom erupts in whispers. The judge demands order. But the whispers don't cease. Christine's testimony wasn't merely emotional. It was a turning point. And what follows promises to dismantle what little defense was left to Kody and Robyn. Halfway through Christine's testimony, Kody's lawyer attempts to discredit her. Mrs. Brown, isn't it true that you left this marriage due to personal problems with Mr. Brown, rather than financial ones? Christine glares at him. Yes, I left because I was fed up with being ignored, disrespected, and lied to. Don't mix up personal hurt with dishonesty. The financial deception is real. And now the entire world can see it. The jury observes intently, their pens scratching against paper. Some nod imperceptibly. Robyn hides her face in her hands and weeps silently. Kody sits stiff, his white knuckles, his clenched jaw so tight it would seem to crack. And then, in a line scripted by destiny, the prosecutor utters that which quiets the courtroom. We have proof that $250,000 of the missing cash was deposited into an account meant to buy property in Robyn's maiden name. Property that was secreted away from the other wives. The room explodes. Reporters surge out of their seats, cameras clicking. Christine's expression turns hard. Janelle's head moves in incredulity, and Meri mutters in disgust. I knew it. The discovery of secret property wasn't a surprise twist, it was the killer blow. And the repercussions. That's where the story takes its darkest turn. As the session is coming to an end, the judge demands a brief adjournment. But hardly has anyone risen to their feet before he utters a spine-tingling remark. This court is deeply concerned by the evidence presented today. What began as a family dispute has revealed potential fraud, deception, and financial misconduct on a scale this court cannot ignore. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, his eyes fix on Kody and Robyn. Be prepared. What comes next may not only determine your family's future, but your freedom. The gavel slams. The flash of the camera, the gasps, the pandemonium. It all has the feel of the finale of a true crime show. Except this is not the finale. This is the beginning of the storm. And as Kody and Robyn prepare to leave, murmurs circulate through the crowd. Prison time, one journalist whispers. Frozen assets, secret property, they won't get away with this. The doors open, and the Brown family emerges into a world of blinding lights, segmented as never before. But just when the tension is too much to bear, a figure comes across the courthouse steps, someone carrying an envelope full of papers. The man's voice rises above the din as he utters, "There's something the court has not seen yet." And with that, all we think we know is suddenly put into doubt. The cameras flash, the crowd roars, and just when everyone thinks the courtroom drama has reached its boiling point, a new figure steps into the spotlight, carrying an envelope so thick it looks like it could bury Kody and Robyn once and for all. The man clears his throat, his tone firm in the midst of the commotion. These documents, he states, holding up the envelope so the reporters can see, hold transactions yet to be seen by the court. Transactions that link Kody Brown and Robyn Brown to more than simply secret properties. These documents disclose offshore accounts, sham trusts, and money trails that extend far beyond $400,000. The reporters almost fall over themselves in their haste to push forward. Meri comes to a stop halfway, her heart racing as if all those years of gaslighting and betrayal are finally going to be rewarded. Christine's face burns with rage and relief. Janelle mouths a soft finally. Robyn staggers back, holding on to Kody's arm. No, No, this can't be happening, she whispers, her voice cracking. Kody, his jaw set, his eyes wide, he resembles a man at the edge of a precipice. A man who realizes the earth is going to give way. Then the cryptic envelope wasn't documents, it was a time bomb. And when it was opened, the whole courtroom went haywire. The next morning, the courtroom is as full as it has ever been. Reporters pack the benches, onlookers lean forward eagerly, and even the judge appears grimly fascinated. The prosecutor grasps the envelope, drawing out the first document with care. This, he declares, is a wire transfer from the Brown family trust to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands, signed by Kody Brown and Robyn Brown. The room is filled with gasps. The paper crackles as he places it on the table for the jury. Here, he goes on, turning to the next, we find cash withdrawals in excess of $150,000 over the course of 3 months. The withdrawals overlap with high-ticket purchases, jewelry, trips, even cars, none of which were reported to the other wives. The air thickens with every page exposed. Janelle shakes her head, eyes closed in shock. Christine's gaze is fixed on Kody, her anger so intense it could slice through glass. Meri has a white-knuckled grip on the bench, her eyes fixed on Robyn, who's shaking so hard she can hardly sit. The judge leans forward, his voice cutting. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, do you have any explanation for these documents? Kody clears his throat, fighting to stay composed. Your Honor, this is a misunderstanding. These were business ventures. Investments, not investments, the prosecutor interrupts, his voice laced with disdain. Is that what you call channeling family money into offshore accounts under phony names? The room flares once more, whispers circulating like embers in a blaze. What was revealed next made the whole case something much more sinister. And it confronted Kody and Robyn with a reality they could no longer escape. Christine stands up again, this time with her voice full of flames. We believed him. For years we trusted everything he told us about securing our future, about creating something for all of us. But what he was creating wasn't a family legacy, it was his empire, his kingdom with Robyn on the throne. Her words strike Kody as bullets. He squirms uncomfortably, looking at Robyn, who can only sob. Janelle adds in, her voice firmer but no less incriminating. I worked, I sacrificed, I invested in our family, and to find out that my money, my kids' future was stolen, concealed, and spent without my say, that's not betrayal. It's theft. Meri last speaks. Her voice trembles initially, but becomes firmer. I was the first, the one who trusted him when no one else did. And what did I receive in return? Lies, deception. And now this, to see it all on paper, to know that I wasn't insane, that I wasn't dreaming it. That's justice. The courtroom is silent. 3 women, previously united by faith and family, now brought together in their anger against the man who destroyed them all. Kody's face reddens. He holds onto the table, his body shaking with rage. You don't get it, he erupts. I was doing it for us. Everything that I did was to keep us safe from the world that hates us. Robyn pulls on his sleeve, pleading in a whisper. Stop, please stop. But he won't. They never appreciated me. He shouts, gesturing at Christine, Janelle, and Meri. They destroyed this family, not me. Robyn was the only one who trusted in me. His words ring out in the courtroom, laced with desperation. The jury stands, silent, their expressions impassive, but the harm is evident. Kody's meltdown wasn't only emotional, it was a turning point. After this point, his defense came apart in ways even his attorneys couldn't prevent. The prosecutor jumps on the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you just heard it straight from Mr. Brown himself. This was not about family. This was about control. This was about power. And the women who trusted him the most had nothing. Order is called by the judge, his booming voice as the gavel comes crashing down. But the jurors' faces speak volume. Doubt has taken hold. The remainder of the session descends into chaos. Witnesses come forward, each one fanning the flames. A past accountant for one of Robyn's companies testifies that she was ordered to move money around, so it would be more difficult to track. A family acquaintance remembers hearing Kody bragging about keeping the money safe where no one could touch it. Each testimony cuts deeper, each revelation a picture of greed and deception. By the end of the day, the courtroom is stifling. Kody hunches in his seat, his eyes bloodshot, his bravado lost. Robyn sits next to him, her face pale, as if the weight of truth had finally defeated her. On the other side of the aisle, Meri, Janelle, and Christine sit in a row. For the first time in years, they appear united, not as rival wives, but as women demanding justice. The judge concludes with a foreboding remark. This case is no longer one of family squabbles. It's one of financial mismanagement, fraud, and possible criminal exposure. The evidence is overwhelming, and the court will move forward accordingly. The gavel comes down. The courtroom explodes again. And as Kody and Robyn are led out, hand in hand but broken-hearted, one question hangs in the air. This empire they constructed is crumbling, and there is nothing anyone can do to stop it now. But as the doors shut behind them, a reporter yells the question that sends a shiver through every spine in the room. If this is just the money we know about, how much more is still hidden? The courtroom is quiet, but it's the sort of quiet that's palpable, dense, stifling, vibrating with tension. The air conditioner quietly hums, but does nothing to bring relief from the heat rising. Everyone's eyes move to the witness stand, where Robyn Brown, her face white and her hands shaking, sits down. For days she has wept silently in the corner, holding on to Kody like a drowning woman holding driftwood. But now, sworn in, there is no concealment. The judge looks down, his voice low and firm. Mrs. Brown, you are here to give testimony about the accounts, businesses, and holdings of property in your name. Do you promise to tell the truth, the entire truth, and nothing but the truth? Robyn nods, her words a soft whisper. Yes. And then, suddenly, the world stops breathing, because everyone knows that what happens next could either heal Kody and Robyn, or ruin them utterly. While Robyn testified, no one saw it coming. Tears, words, and confessions would turn the trial around, and reveal the fissures that might topple the entire empire. The prosecutor does not hesitate. He walks over with measured composure, placing a pile of papers on the podium. Mrs. Brown, do you recognize these? Robyn's eyes dart over to the papers. She nods very slightly. Yes, they're bank statements. Right, says the prosecutor. Bank statements from accounts in your name. Accounts into which there have been deposits in excess of $400,000 in less than 2 years. Can you tell me the origin of those funds? Robyn squirms, her hands knotting in her lap. They were business earning, from my web sales, from family businesses. The prosecutor raises an eyebrow, turning to a page that is marked business profits. Mrs. Brown, we've gone over these accounts. The deposits are almost identical to withdrawals taken from the Brown Family Trust, withdrawals made by your husband, Mr. Brown. Do you still want to refer to these business profits? Robyn's lips quiver. She looks at Kody, and he looks back, his eyes blazing with unspoken demand that she stand firm. But the pressure becomes unsustainable. I don't know, she says, barely above a whisper, tears welling up. I thought it was for us, for our safety. A murmur runs through the crowd. The jury moves forward, pens moving quickly. Robyn's hesitation was the crack that everyone had been waiting for. And once it opened, the prosecutor wasted no time driving a wedge straight through it. The questioning gets tougher. Mrs. Brown, did you buy property in your maiden name from money in these accounts? Robyn nibbles her lip. Yes, but Kody said it was the only way that it would keep us safe from the others. The courtroom breaks into murmurs. Christine's jaw drops in shock. Janelle shakes her head in distaste, and Meri releases a caustic laugh that earns her a warning look from the judge. So you acknowledge, the prosecutor insists, that property was purchased in secret, unbeknownst to the other wives? Yes, Robyn replies, her voice cracking. I didn't want to. I wanted to believe Kody. Kody pounds his fist on the table. Stop making me the bad guy, he snarls. The judge promptly shuts him up with a loud gavel bang, but the damage is already done. Robyn breaks down in tears, weeping uncontrollably now. I didn't think it would come to this, she wails. I thought I was defending my family. The prosecutor takes a step back, allowing the silence to lengthen. Each word, each cry, rings in the ears of the jury. Outside, during the brief recess, the media storm erupts. Headlines flash immediately online. Robyn cracks on the stand. Hidden property confirmed. Brown Empire in ruins. Reporters rush for sound bites. But in the courtroom, the atmosphere only becomes more ponderous. When court reconvenes, the prosecutor presents a new exhibit. Emails between Kody and Robyn. The words projected onto the screen for the jury look damning. Kody, we must move it quickly. If Meri or Janelle get wind of it, they will oppose it. Robyn, is this safe? I don't want to get into trouble. Kody, believe me. They'll never get the whole picture. This is for us. The courtroom gasps. Robyn hides her face in her hands, crying even harder than before. Kody's jaw clenches as he glowers at the screen, unable to refute his own words. Those emails weren't just evidence, they were a confession. And for the jury, the truth could no longer be ignored. Christine takes advantage of the moment. She rolls forward from her bench, her voice heavy with indignation. All these years, she spits out loudly enough for the room to hear. You assured us we were paranoid, that we were selfish for doubting you. And now we find the truth, written in your own words. The gavel comes down, but Christine does not pause. She weeps openly, her voice shaking but unbroken. You destroyed us, Kody. You destroyed everything. The room is once again filled with heavy silence, the kind that makes hearts beat and breaths catch. The defense rushes to catch up. Kody's lawyer stands up, trying to spin Robyn's testimony. Mrs. Brown, you've testified again and again that you trusted your husband. Can't you have been deceived? That you did the best you knew how? Robyn sniffs, slowly nodding her head. Yes, I didn't realize the whole picture. I was merely trying to assist him. But the prosecutor is swift to counter. Good faith doesn't account for offshore accounts, secret properties, and hidden emails. Mrs. Brown, you knew or didn't know. You were in on it. The jury's expressions stiffen. Sympathy for Robyn is evaporating. Robyn's tears might have won sympathy initially, but the proof was irrefutable, and sympathy can't overwrite paper trails. As the afternoon wears on, the courtroom becomes more stifling. Witness by witness, the story is verified. Money gone, property concealed, Robyn's signature on every page. By late afternoon, the judge appears weary, his patience wearing thin. This court has received overwhelming testimony and viewed copious amounts of evidence. At this point, it is clear that the acts in question go beyond family disputes. We are heading toward criminal fraud charges. The gavel comes down, shattering the air in the room. Kody sits stunned, his bravado lost, his kingdom crashing around him in real time. Robyn holds on to him, whispering through tears. What do we do, Kody? What do we do? He doesn't respond. His gaze is fixed on the ground, the gravity of his decisions finally bearing down like a mountain he can no longer outrun. Just as the judge is about to adjourn the court for the day, the prosecutor approaches with one final revelation. Your Honor, tomorrow we will bring a witness who has been directly a part of these financial transactions. A witness who collaborated closely with Mr. Brown, and who is willing to testify. The room bursts into speculation. Who might it be? An accountant? A business associate? Or someone even more intimate? All anyone is sure of is this. The next word could condemn Kody and Robyn once and for all. The courtroom is a ticking time bomb. Every look, every hushed word, every rustle of paper seems magnified under the crushing pressure. And then, the silence is shattered. The judge leans forward, his tone low but authoritative. Mrs. Brown, you may continue with your testimony. All eyes turn to Meri. She readjusts her glasses, draws a slow breath, and fixes Kody and Robyn with a steady eye. Her voice trembles at first, then becomes firmer, steadier, like that of a woman who has borne the burden of betrayal for too many years. Is this the moment everyone's been waiting for? Will Meri finally connect the last dots of the alleged $400K scam? Will she lay bare the secrets that Kody and Robyn fought so hard to keep buried? And here's the chilling part. Meri has more than just numbers. She has letters, handwritten notes, signed checks, physical evidence that, if believed, could tear down everything Kody and Robyn have built. Imagine sitting in that courtroom, realizing every secret whispered in private could now become public record. Would you look away? Or lean in closer? Meri spreads out a piece of paper and holds it aloft with shaking hands. This, she says, her voice slicing through the quiet air, is a check Robyn drew to herself, out of our joint business account. It was not approved. It was not allowed, and when I confronted her, she said it was for family expenses. Family expenses don't cost $75,000 in 1 month. Gasps run through the courtroom. Christine grips her hands tightly in her lap, the knuckles white. Janelle shakes her head, her lips sealed as if to prevent herself from screaming. Kody shifts restlessly, his jaw clenched. His attorney stands quickly, objecting. Your Honor, this is circumstantial at best. There's no evidence these funds were misused. But Meri doesn't blink. She extracts another sheet of paper from her folder. And what about that? A wire transfer to a personal account in Robyn's name, sent only 2 weeks prior to the supposed investment collapse. The judge narrows his eyes. The jury scribbles notes furiously. Robyn presses a tissue to her face, her shoulders shaking as though she might break down at any second. But something about her tears feels performative, as though they're more for the gallery of spectators than for the truth itself. 2 hours pass in what feels like 2 minutes. Witness after witness takes the stand. An accountant verifies Meri's claims, saying the numbers don't lie. A former employee describes being pressured by Robyn to alter records. The walls of Kody and Robyn's empire aren't just cracking, they're collapsing. And then there is the unexpected moment. Christine asks to testify once more. She stands, her voice steady, her eyes fixed on Kody. This isn't about money, she states. This is about manipulation, about control, about shutting the rest of us up, so Kody and Robyn could get their grip tighter. The judge lets her proceed. Christine moves closer to the jury, her voice cutting in passion. I was afraid to speak out for years. Whenever I questioned Kody on money, he accused me of being unfaithful. Whenever I asked where the money went, Robyn would sob until I apologized. But Meri's bravery reawakened something in me. I cannot remain silent any longer. The guts it takes to testify against family in court isn't bravery, it's survival. If you were standing in Christine's place, would you throw it all away for the truth? Kody explodes at last. Thumping his hand on the table, he regards Christine. You lie. You always resented what I had with Robyn. His voice breaks, but not with sadness, but with rage. The judge slams the gavel. Mr. Brown, get yourself together or I'll have you removed. The courtroom murmurs with the sound of whispers. The jury looks at each other, obviously disturbed by Kody's outburst. Robyn grabs his arm, whispering urgently, but Kody shakes her off. His facade of control is cracking, and everyone can tell. Christine doesn't back down. She stares at him with a steady defiance that silences the room. I'm not jealous, Kody. I'm free. And now the truth is finally free too. The trial drags on into the late afternoon. Tension rises with every word, every glance. And then the most shocking twist of all. Meri reveals that she has one final witness, someone unexpected, someone no one saw coming. The doors swing open, and in strides one of Kody's former business partners, a gruff-faced, older man with a folder stack held tightly under his arm. The gallery gasps. Kody goes white. The man stands, takes the oath, and opens his folder. I was approached by Kody Brown to assist in creating Shell Company. He desired that the money be channeled in such a way that it could not be traced back to him or Robyn. Initially, I did agree, but upon realizing how it would affect his family, I stepped away. And that's when I knew this was not poor money management. This was fraud. The courtroom is charged. Each word is like a clap of thunder. Kody clutches at the table, his eyes wildly darting, as if looking for an exit. The walls are closing in on him, and Kody is aware of it. What would you do if all of your deepest secrets were going to be pulled into the light? Robyn disintegrates totally, crying out loudly, begging the judge that this isn't fair. This is simply an assault on our love, our marriage, our family. But the jury isn't convinced. The evidence mounts higher. The testimonies cut deeper. And for the first time in decades, Kody doesn't appear like the man who's always in charge. He appears like a man backed into a corner. The judge calls for a recess, and the courtroom erupts with chatter. Reporters make a mad dash to file their reports. The other wives' supporters wail in victory. And yet, despite it all, one thing holds true. This trial is just getting started. Because the next step isn't evidence, it's punishment. And the question hanging over all of our heads is this. If Kody and Robyn are convicted, will their empire not only freeze solid, but shatter for good? The judge's words reverberate one final time before the gavel falls. Court will reconvene tomorrow morning. And I assure you, we are only just beginning. The lines are drawn, but tomorrow's testimony will bring the biggest surprise so far. Would you miss it? The court is still. You could have heard a pin fall. Weeks of testimony, secrets and lies weigh down on all of them, like a storm that is about to unleash. And then the bailiff's voice silences the room. All rise for the jury. It begins. The moment that will determine not only Kody and Robyn's future, but the future of their whole empire. The jury enters, faces hard, impassive. Kody sits tensely at the defense table, his knuckles white on the smooth wood. Robyn is holding onto his arm, her face smeared with tears that appear and disappear like waves. Over by the wall, Meri, Christine and Janelle lean in, their hearts racing, their gazes locked on the foreperson clutching a creased bit of paper. And here's the dismal question hanging in the air. Will the jury view Kody and Robyn as victims of circumstance, or designers of a $400K fraud that shattered trust and family bonds for good? Picture having to wait for strangers to decide your whole future. Could you sit still, or would you crack under the quiet? The foreperson coughs. We, the jury, find the defendants. She stops. The room is frozen. Kody blinks his eyes shut. Robyn mutters something unheard. Christine clutches Meri's hand. Guilty of fraud and misappropriation of funds. The gasp that comes after sounds like thunder. Robyn falls into a weeping fit, crying so hard she can hardly catch her breath. Kody sits bolt upright, his fist hammering down on the table. Wrong. You don't know. All we were doing was trying to save the family. His shout rings out through the room, a passionate appeal from a man who has lost everything. The judge quiets him with a crack of the gavel. Order, sit down, Mr. Brown. For the first time ever, Kody does. But his expression isn't one of it's one of fury, smoldering hot fury, that appears to threaten this battle isn't yet finished. The sentencing process starts right away. Prosecutors ask for freezing all joint assets related to Kody and Robyn. That means businesses, properties and investments belonging to the Sister Wives brand. The courtroom is tense with electricity. The judge leans forward. In light of the seriousness of this case, and the volume of evidence presented, I am directing the immediate freezing of all funds attributable to Mr. Kody Brown and Mrs. Robyn Brown. Christine exhales a trembling breath. Her eyes welled up with tears. Janelle touches her shoulder reassuringly. Meri doesn't budge. She just looks at Kody, unreadable expression on her face, as if centuries of betrayal cross before her eyes in a single moment. When justice finally comes, it isn't victory. It's liberation. Would you be relieved, or would you be hollow after all that suffering? But then, a shocking turn of events. Robyn asks to speak to the court. She stands wiping away her tears, her voice shaking. Please, I never wanted to do this. I thought I was defending my children. I thought Kody was doing what was best for us. I never wanted to hurt anyone. The courtroom is quiet. Some of them shift uncomfortably. Others glare at her. Christine shakes her head, whispering, too little, too late. But the judge lets her words stand. He forewarns, though, that remorse cannot erase evidence. And then, out of left field, Meri stands. She asks if she can make a final statement. The judge grants her permission. Meri makes a slow path to the middle of the room, her tone firm but filled with emotion. This wasn't ever about money. This was about power. For years, Kody and Robyn shut us up, controlled us, and made us believe our voices were irrelevant. Today, the jury disagreed. Today, we reclaimed our voices. And no matter how much money, no matter how many millions, will ever silence us again. The gallery breaks into applause, promptly bashed by the gavel. But the point is made. Just when it seems that justice is finally served, a storm brews, because Kody Brown won't go quietly. Once sentenced, Kody is granted the privilege of speaking. He rises from his seat, his voice hoarse with emotion. You all believe that you know me. You believe that I am evil. But all that I have done was to preserve my family. I sacrificed, I struggled. I bled for this family. And this is how you reward me. His words ring like daggers in the air. Robyn holds on to him, crying. The judge sits there silently, then speaks coldly. Mr. Brown, families are not founded on falsehoods. They are not maintained by dishonesty. This court has spoken. The gavel comes down once more. It's finished. But even while the trial wraps up, the true fight is only just starting. Outside the courthouse, there are flashes of cameras. There are reporters in a frenzy. Christine and Janelle keep their heads held high. Meri strode along in quiet dignity, not giving Kody the pleasure of even a look. Kody and Robyn, however, are surrounded by pandemonium. Shouted questions, flashing cameras, a cacophony of voices asking the same question. What happens next? When the world is witnessing your collapse, do you cower, or do you strike back with a louder voice than ever before? That evening, social media goes wild. Hashtags trend globally. Fans of the original wives rejoice at the verdict, while die-hard followers of Kody and Robyn protest. accusing it's all a conspiracy. News commentators break down every detail. Experts foretell Kody's empire is done. But here's the twist. The story isn't just about what happened in the courtroom. It's about what happens afterward. Christine and Janelle begin talks of launching their own business venture, built on transparency and trust, determined never to repeat Kody's mistakes. Meri quietly starts writing a memoir, determined to tell her truth once and for all. And Kody, he disappears into the darkness, scheming. Because one thing is certain, he might have lost this fight, but in his head the war is far from over. What if Kody Brown's next step isn't defeat, but vengeance? Weeks later, rumors spread of appeals, of hidden accounts not yet uncovered, of still staunch allies that Kody might have left in hiding. Robyn disappears from public view, almost never seen, while Kody shows up in sporadic interviews, portraying himself as the victim of a witch hunt. The family, once united by marriage and religion, is now irreparably torn apart, divides drawn in court, cut deeper by betrayal. But for Christine, Janelle, and Meri, there's something stronger than revenge. There's freedom. Finally, for the first time in years, they feel unshackled from Kody's control. And that freedom, they come to see, is invaluable. Sometimes justice isn't necessarily about punishment. It's about finally having peace. And that's an ending no verdict can steal. As our narrative's camera pulls back, we find the broken Brown family facing away from one another. Kody and Robyn alone, resentful, unrepentant. Christine, Janelle, and Meri, torn, yet standing taller, stronger, united. The courtroom lights have faded, but the trial's reverberations will be felt for years to come. And the question remains, was this the end of the Brown dynasty, or the beginning of an even darker chapter? Because one thing is for sure, in the universe of Sister Wives, the drama doesn't stop at the sound of the gavel descending. It just gets better. Now I have to know what you think. Did Kody and Robyn deserve the verdict? Or do you think there's more to their story? Share your thoughts in the comments because this one debate is far from settled.